business end of the championship. Despite all the hopes and dreams around the country, just a couple of months ago, there are now just 9 teams left in the football championship and only 4 left in the hurling. Tonight, we show you all that happened in a dramatic weekend and analyse it with our experts. It was quarter-finals day in the hurling championship as Anthony Daly's Dublin faced Limerick in the opener in Thurles. Could the boys in blue make it to the last 4? And what about Waterford, complete underdogs going into the other quarter-final against Galway? Could they pull off a big shock? Highlights of this intriguing encounter coming up later. It's been another turbulent week in Kerry, no shortage of action off the field. Could they finally spark to life today and end Antrim's dream of an upset? We've action from the rest of the football qualifiers over the weekend, including Micko's showdown against Kildare last night. And we've a report on both hurling relegation matches, which controversially went ahead yesterday afternoon. So a busy programme ahead, and we're going to start with the hurling. I'm delighted to welcome Donal O'Grady and Pete Finnerty for their reaction. And first up, we're off to Thurles for the opening quarter-final between Dublin and Limerick. At the start of the season, not many predicted that one of these sides would be in the last 4. Ger Canning and Michael Dydon described the action.
Dublin's first ever quarter-final team shows 3 changes from the team that lost the Leinster final to Kilkenny. Former Limerick player Maurice O'Brien comes in for the injured Oisin Goff. Stephen Heine goes to corner back, with O'Brien listed at number 5. Other changes are made at wing forward, where Ross O'Carroll and Dave Sweeney both start. By comparison, Justin McCarthy feels the need to freshen up his Limerick side by making 3 alterations this week after the narrow win over Laois. Mark O'Riordan returns at left corner back. David Breen is picked on the 40 in place of Mike O'Brien, while Wayne McNamara starts just his 2nd championship match. It's at left half forward. Michael Wadding gets the match underway. It is Limerick playing from right to left, and Dublin straight away trying to launch their first attack here. Alan McCrabb fouled, and the free is going to be to Dublin. It's Alan McCrabb from Craobh Kieran who's going to hit this one inside his own 65-metre line. Big huge one in, goalkeeper fumbles, and it's in the back of the net. What a dream start for Dublin. We'll watch it again here. Watch the number 14 as it hops in there tantalisingly, and the youngster puts it into the back of the net. Into the middle of the field there, where it's fumbled by Paul Brown. Back once again by Michael Carton for Dublin. Into the corner here as far as David O'Callaghan. Dotsey setting up the opportunity there for Dave Sweeney, and that one has gone over the bar. Very, very good start by Dublin. That's knocked back by McCrabb, back in the middle of the park. This time it is Liam Ryan getting it under control, looking for a shot himself, and that looks brilliant. Really good shot by Liam Ryan, the O'Toole's player, first of the day, and it's 1-4 now to 2 points. Here's Johnny McCaffrey coming across here, running into traffic, belted away by Donal O'Grady, in there towards Paddy McNamara, doing well. Big Paddy McNamara kicking it into the back of the net, and Limerick's first goal comes in the 15th minute. A breakaway attack, and Paddy McNamara gets his first ever championship goal and makes it 1-5 to 1-3, and Tomas Brady beaten this time by the towering figure of Paddy McNamara. Only 2 between them. Michael Carton, very experienced player, going for a shot himself. If it's on target, it's brilliant, and it is on target, and Limerick are disputing it. Michael Carton putting it over the bar. Certainly Brian Murray was convinced it had drifted away to the left-hand side, calling on the umpire to have a rethink.
Well, Jared, took them 2 or 3 seconds to make up their minds there. They looked at each other, there was no movement. See, can we get it from this
Have
angle?
a look at it.
look at the umpires there now. They couldn't make up their mind. Look wide to me from here.
Down it comes towards Donal O'Grady. Big one up, and once again the full forwards in, and this time saved by Gary Maguire.
Yeah, Joe, we're just saying it. Look at the room inside here again. Nobody back covering and missed completely.
Breaks down here towards Johnny McCaffrey, but it's picked up instead there by Gavin O'Mahony. Lovely hand pass forward here for James Ryan. First touch not the greatest, but second touch looked superb and nicely over the bar. Nobody getting tight enough on James Ryan that time. It's a lovely little perceptive hand pass from Gavin O'Mahony into James Ryan. Second time of asking, over the bar. 1 point the margin once again. Once more it is Dave Sweeney. This time fortunate that it breaks towards Liam Rush, the 19-year-old trying to make inroads. Stopped there well by Seamus Hickey. Out again as far as Mark Foley. Back into the inside line where Limerick can make a lot of inroads, but this time it bounces back out towards Joey Boland. Clever little hand pass out again. And once more a relieving clearance out of defence, this time by Maurice O'Brien. Not a great clearance, comes straight to another Limerick man, Mark Foley. Inside once again, this time Brown trying to go Brown still, and the referee blows his whistle and it's a penalty. Paul Brown draws the penalty, and Limerick have a gilt-edged chance of tying up the game here in the 33rd minute. Can Brian Murray now put this in the back of the net? He hasn't been brought up to hit a point. 3 on the line for Dublin. 34 minutes are gone. It's in the back of the net, and the match is level. First ever championship goal for Brian Murray. This is what caused it.
Yeah, here's Paul Brown going through. I think Niall Corcoran tracking him well there. I just think he fell over. I don't think that's a penalty.
But there was nothing doubtful about the quality of the penalty itself. Brian Murray into the back of the net. Moving it across over to the far side beyond James Ryan. Back there helping out is Liam Rush. And Rush, the number 31, with a little hand pass outside. Nice movement. That's Stephen Heine coming in. Hit the shot off the goalkeeper's stick. He's in real difficulty and happy to see it go over the bar eventually. But it is Stephen Heine who will take the credit for that one, no doubt about it. Helped by Brian Murray, the Limerick goalkeeper. And that was a good score. Forward once again beyond Liam Rush. Batted down as far as Alan McCrabb. Swiftly forward into the path of Shane Durkin. Durkin trying to beat his man, who is Mark O'Riordan. Right on the sideline. Ross O'Carroll there, and that's gone over the bar. Great point.
Yeah, Ger, and ball down for Ross O'Carroll. Shows his great physical strength here, holding off Mark O'Riordan.
Huge one down. Tracy trying to reach it. That was O'Riordan coming across. He was caught by a Dublin stick. It comes back out to him again. He's on his feet very quickly, swiftly away. Feeling the effects of that, however. Broken down by Ollie Moran. Needing a support player. That support player is David Breen, the big strong man from the Piercing. Let's fly near the sideline. What a beauty. David Breen. Fabulous score. And the match tied up at 18 points apiece again. 1:15 for Dublin, 2:12 for Limerick. Again, it is Dublin who are trying to mount another attack. Liam Rush looking for Dotsy O'Callaghan. 2 Dublin players colliding. Comes back as far as Brian Geary and the Monoline man. Straight back down towards Rush. Went in there challenging for that. Won there by David Breen, the centre forward. Linking up there with James Ryan. He's got 3 points so far. It's a huge one, big one, accurate one, and it's over the bar. Great point by James Ryan. What a find he's been this year for Justin McCarthy's team. He's edged Limerick into the lead with 10 minutes still to play. It's won back again by Andrew O'Shaughnessy, down in midfield now. Only 2 men up front. One of them is Paudie O'Mahony. There alongside him, Tomas Brady. And he clears it, and he clears it out over the sideline, inexplicably giving away possession to the opposition. A shake of the head by Anthony Daly. So we've got 3 minutes of the game still to be played as Gavin O'Mahony fires it in like a jet over the bar from the sideline. Well, he's hit a 65, and now that sideline, his 7th point. A superb contribution out of Limerick's tally of 23 points in all. They lead by 3. More changes being made, but right now it's Limerick who at their dander up and ready to make sure that they don't surrender their lead. Dublin made mistakes. Their first ever championship quarter-final. A young team being built by Anthony Daly. And that's another one, and that's another score. And now surely it's Limerick. 8 points for Gavin O'Mahony. What a tremendous contribution. It comes back down once again here. Lambert right across. Nobody able to get to it. It's Mark Foley who comes out with it. Donny Ryan's been introduced. It doesn't matter. Mark Foley clears it out, and Limerick beat Dublin. Justin McCarthy, in his first season as manager of Limerick, has worked the oracle once again. Limerick's old heads did enough to see them through, and they are in the semi-finals. The full-time score, it's Limerick 2 goals and 18 points. Dublin 1 goal and 17.
Well, it was a good win, there's no doubt about that. You know, I was quietly confident, to be honest. I thought, you know, we had our homework done. There's a lot of tactics in the game, which is kind of maybe spoiling the game in one way from a free-flowing game. But, you know, I knew the lads would stand firm. We were very committed, and, you know, we're not as bad as what people make us out to be.
We had a good early lead, and we probably would have gone in level at half time after playing into the wind. Played our best hurling in the second half, but if you were 4 or 5 ahead, maybe that might have sustained you, you know. But after a great start like we did, to go in level was probably a bit deflatorary and like in the dressing room. So, sure, look, it's not, you know, you just have to look at it now and try and get back there, you know.
Interesting that Anthony Daly said they're a bit deflated at half time. As you looked at the game, did you think they were in trouble at that stage, only being level?
Well, I suppose really does when you look at their start and when you look at where they came from. You know, first 10 minutes they looked all over Limerick, and they looked as if they'd go away from Limerick, and then to go back in, as he said, at half time. Management made a few switches, substitutions as well, so they may have their self-belief may have rocked a little bit, I think, in the first half, and that's why they may have been a little bit deflated at half time.
But still, with 10 minutes to go, it was level. But Limerick dominated in that last 10 minutes.
Limerick were experienced, and they had the old heads. They're used to being in this position. You know, Dublin, very young team, lost their shape a little bit, and once Limerick levelled, there was only going to be one winner.
Pete, I mean, Dublin had that great start and good first half, but you've picked out a few instances where you felt maybe it was crucial today.
Dublin hurled very well, but there was times when they did very basic and simple mistakes, and I think it was just a lack of concentration and lack of self-belief. Here we see Stephen Heine, he gets onto a ball. He had an exceptional game, but he tries to find a short little pass to his cornerback Corcoran, and he doesn't, and James Ryan nips in, and it's a simple score, but it's gut-wrenching a score like that. Here we see a good ball thrown out by McCaffrey to Sweeney. He had plenty of time to control it, plenty of time to get the ball away, but he doesn't. Damien Rail comes in and drives the ball down the field. And here we saw so many of these where they were in open space, ball cleared down to the opposition and not finding their own men. Yeah. Dublin will not be questioned on their ability. They won't be questioned on their physicality. They won't be questioned on their effort. But it was their mental ability to stay in the game today and be able to put a game away that they will be questioned on. When they hurled well and with confidence, they hurled with the fluency of Kilkenny. But when they lacked that confidence and that self-belief, they hurled like the old Dublin. And that's going to be their biggest stumbling block. You can't question them. They have a good manager, they have a good underage structure, they have everything else, but they have to battle it out now, get back to brass tacks, look at the league and see where they go from there. All right, let's give Limerick credit, Donald. What impressed you about Limerick today?
Well, I mean, when the match was in the melting pot, really, Des, you know, they got some very, very good scores, and you know, particularly James Ryan, David Breen, right? They didn't score that much from play, really, and none of their frees kept them in it. But David Breen picked up a good ball there, stood out and came late and picked the ball up. Brilliant score. This was just to level the match for them, and he had missed a shocker earlier, right? So that was and that was an inspirational score for them. And again, James Ryan picks it up, has a look, bang, over the bar, right? And he scored 4 points and played very impressive. And of course, in the first half, when they were out of the game, and Dublin should have won this ball, lost it, and a fast ball in from Donald O'Grady unhinged Tomas Brady, was caught on the wrong side and when Paddy McNamara got it, there was only one thing in his mind, and he side-footed in. to the corner. Mickey Ned will probably be looking for him for the qualifiers, but you know that goal sustained Limerick in the first half, and the penalty decision then after that they scored as well was important.
All right, talk about the penalty in a moment, but just on that, Pete, McNamara had a great game at full forward for Limerick. Dublin struggled there, and previously they had McCaffrey back in front of the full back line. Was that tactic missed today?
If I was asked before the game, I'd say no. I'd say they should have played an orthodox 15-man again 15, because you can't keep bringing defenders back or attackers back to defend, and it's a very negative way to go. And I thought the right tactic was to go out. But why they took McCaffrey off at half-time or just before it, I'm not quite sure. I thought Tomas Brady struggled all day long in front of goal, and I'd question should have been left there that long. Stephen Heine was playing exceptionally well throughout the whole game, but playing with confidence. I thought maybe he was the man to go back and protect in front of goal. Right. But they did leave that worry in front of goal all day long. OK, now
at the end there was 4 points in it, but the penalty for Limerick was crucial.
It was, and again...
Was it a penalty?
Well, the forward is always going to get the benefit of the doubt here. We see Paul Brown, he's charging down on goal. Now Corcoran's behind him. The referee can't see what's happening in front. The player goes to ground and he gives.
But if the ref can't see, can he give a penalty though?
Well, if he can't see, is it not an offence? You know, you have to give the benefit of the doubt to the man going forward. He falls down, and I actually think it was a penalty.
All right, Donald.
Yeah, well, I think there was two fouls. I suppose Paul Brown took an extra step, 5 or 6, and Corcoran definitely come across him. But we see the penalty there, right? And if we roll it on, that ball was heading straight for, Joey Boland's chest, and it was a poor score to you see it there past him by Maguire. Kind of came
Joey
across
should have taken it on the chest.
Yeah. Joey should have just stepped across 6 inches to his right and let the ball hit off his chest, and he had a save. Maybe Gary Maguire might have put him off, but it's essential you keep your eye on the ball. That was not saying it was a gift, but it was,
it was a stoppable penalty.
It was a stoppable, and it would have been huge psychologically. It was huge psychologically for Limerick. It would have been huge psychologically for Dublin, because we're just before half-time.
OK. All right, Donald, who were the nominees for man of the match today then?
Well, the nominees really were, we spoke already about Paddy McNamara from Limerick, right? He caused consternation, in at the edge of the square. Gavin O'Mahony from Limerick, right, who played Saturday midfield, moved back, wing back, and was excellent. And Stephen Heine from Dublin, who gave, an all-round very, very good display. So they were the nominees.
And who gets it, Pete?
Gavin O'Mahony from Limerick receives the man of the match. At a time in the game when Limerick needed scores, he was able to contribute. OK, they were all from the place ball positions. He scored 2 from sidelines. He scored 4 points in the first half. He scored 4 points in the second half, and 8 points from your right half back is a great contribution. But he also played well throughout the game as well, and he closed down the Dublin forward.
And crucially, he missed nothing. And that's very, we spoke psychological matters, right? Missing nothing gives great confidence for the whole team.
Sure, OK. Well, let's hear then from the man of the match, Gavin O'Mahony.
The Commercial Director of RT Television, Geraldine O'Leary, is going to present our GAA Hurling Championship Man of the Match, Gavin O'Mahony, with his award.
Congratulations, Gavin. Well done.
Well done, Gavin. That was a tough match out there, but you showed a lot of character to come through it.
We did. There's a lot of character in that dressing room, and we knew coming up here today, if we were there about the last 10 minutes, that the last few games would stand us. We knew if we were there, we'd come through, but thankfully we did.
And you're welcome back. Now, still to come, we have all of the football action and the hurling relegation battle. But first, it's back to Thurles for the second of today's quarter-finals. It's Waterford versus Galway, and commentary comes from Marty Marcy and Michael Dignan.
It's interesting to see that Waterford and Galway have met 8 times in the past, and Galway have never won. This is the Waterford team that's been named, but don't be surprised if there's a whole load of positional switches. There is definitely one change in personnel to the selection that started in the Munster final against Tipperary. Dunhill's Shane Casey makes his championship debut at top of the left, and thus joins 2 great warriors from the Déisi County, John Milan and Owen Kelly in the full forward line. 36-year-old Tony Brown is still producing the goods at right half back, beside Michael Brick Walsh and Aidan Carney, who's named at number 7. The team captain is left half forward Stephen Malumphey. Right through the summer of 09, you get the feeling this Galway team are finally taking shape. The Tribesmen, however, have a new full back today in Eugene McEntee, who incredibly is only making his first championship start for his county at 30 years of age. John Lee has been very impressive at 6, while Ger Farrer and Kevin Hines have developed a good understanding at centre field. Up front, of course, Joe Canning is the main man, with considerable assistance from Niall Healy in the scoring stakes. Between them, they've scored the staggering total of 8 goals and 45 points in just 4 championship matches. It's Malumphey that's coming away with it. Hand passes it into space. Here's John Milan. Ollie Canning shoulders him over the sideline. Owen Kelly will be, I'm sure, anticipating that his first cousin will join him on the field of play. And that, of course, is Dan Shanahan. Owen Kelly looks at the target, and the white flag is raised. Brian Cody is in the attendance, along with his wife, former Wexford Camogie star. Slight breeze favouring Galway in this opening half. Here's Ger Farrer. Can't control it. Comes down for his Jamie Nagle, who is definitely playing in midfield. Batted down by Eugene McEntee. Sent forward all the way for as Clinton Hennessy has the time to gather. Good ball out to the wing, but it carried a little bit too much pace. Picked up instead by Angus Callanan. Has scored consistently in this championship campaign. 8 points in 4 games. That's his first in a quarter-final.
And that's a great score, Marty. Angus Callanan got man of the match here against Cork last week, and great score to start. And I think the mobility of him and Andy Smith already causing problems for the Waterford half-back line.
And once again, it's Kevin Moore flicking inside to Malumphey. Not a great pass. Prendergast is there, but Ger Farrer is back there helping his half-back line. Dropping it in towards Big Joe. There's the big hand. Joe putting inside. They can play football in Portumna. I didn't know it. It's over the bar. His first from play, his third in the game. It's quite a good puck out by Clinton Hennessy. This is Angus Callanan from the Lean Mellows Club in Galway City. Floating this one in. It's looking good.
Great score again, and it was broken down there. Callanan very, very sharp onto the ball, and you can see the wind behind, and just get that a small flick from 80-90 metres, and the rain coming down heavy now as well, Mark.
Kevin Moore in towards Milan. Got a touch, but didn't quite control it. Under the conditions, quite difficult. Looking around at options. Owen Kelly wanted in around the square. Here comes Prendergast through the centre. Takes the opportunity to register another point for Waterford.
Martin, great score there from Waterford. Brilliant ball by Kevin Moore into the corner, and John Milan showed us more than one strand to his game and had a look up, and good run by Seamus Prendergast over the bar. Lovely score.
Fergal Moore. I have to say I'm a fan of Fergal Moore's, and it comes for as Andy Smith trying to cut inside. His passage is blocked to the left, but he takes it on the right. Scored 4 points in the championship campaign, including 2 against Cork. Not bad for a man in his first championship season. Joe Canning. Point. Waterford feel that the ball was wide, and they're all protesting.
It was wide, I think, maybe wide off the post, wasn't it? Outside the post.
Here comes Barra, laid on by Cyril Donlan, and that is over the bar.
That's a great score, Marty. Beautiful. John Lee travelled maybe 40-50 yards to win the ball, and then a lovely little flick from Cyril Donlan. Just watch it there, just left it in Ger Farrer's path, and a super score on the run.
Terrible pass from Tony Brown. Comes in for Adrian Angus Callanan, and that's out for a 65. A most unusual error and poor judgment by Tony Brown. He was anticipating just to hand it back for his Aidan Carney. That's a very good save by the Waterford keeper. Great catch by Seamus Prendergast. Flicks it outside to Kelly. And is wide. And that looked like it was over the bar, and Owen Kelly is furious. Can't quite judge it from there, but some decisions rather debatable in this opening half. Waterford now playing with the breeze in the second half, and they're 4 points down. Not of this scrappy sort of play, evident in the first half, continuing on in the second half. Here's John Milan, maybe he can make a difference. Getting inside the cover, furthermore, still Milan, go for the goal! Stopped by Colin Callanan, now clearly established as the #1 keeper in County Galway. Cyril Dunlop under a little bit of pressure from Brick Walsh. Good hands again onto the favourite left-hand side, and Damien Hayes gets his second point.
It was a good score. He took plenty of steps though. He maybe could have been pulled.
Batted down by John Lee. Faragher, the best piece of action we've seen. It's Faragher's second point in this All-Ireland quarter-final. But good thinking by John Lee.
It was very, very simple. And that's 2 points for Gerard Faragher, and both of them have been probably the 2 best points of the game, and John Lee involved in both incidents.
Stephen Malumphey, chased by his opposite number 12, Andy Smith. Still Malumphey. Owen Kelly needs to get more involved, and that's his first point from play. And it's his 10th overall. And Waterford supporters have finally got something to cheer about. Chasing after this, Kevin Hayes. So too Angus Callanan. Slither in hand. Lays it off, far as Damien Hayes. Good work by the Portumna star. And Hayes takes his point.
Yeah, Damien Hayes, 3 points the last 3 again today, but he's much more confident looking out there today, and great movement again from Callanan and Hayes.
Scored 3 against Cork, 3 against Waterford. Dan Shannon is on the field of play. Hurler of the Year, 2007. Fergal Moore. Very impressive right throughout this quarter-final. Owen Kelly intercepts the pass. Drops this one in. Waterford need to win it. Down the man. And it was very close.
Brilliant catch. Nearly hit it too well, and well wide in the end.
Well picked up by Aidan Carney. He's going for distance. He's dropping it in towards Dan Shanahan. Needs to win it again, and he has it again. Getting inside the cover. Surely that's a free. Referee says no. The ball is pulled on, and Waterford are back in the quarter-final. Created by Dan Shanahan and finished by Shane Walsh. Super Sub has produced the goods. In fact, 2 of them. Shanahan to Walsh, and he cracked it past Colin Callanan. 1 point between the teams. John McIntyre's team under severe pressure. Dan the man knocks it back by John Moran, but Dan Shanahan was being held in the eyes of the referee, and there's a free in for Waterford. Davy Fitz can barely look.
Some decisions may be gone against both sides today, but I'm not sure that was a free. It looked to be a bit of 6 of one, half dozen the other, but Waterford won't complain.
Waterford trying to level the match for the 4th time. Owen Kelly trots away, knowing that that is over the bar, and Owen Kelly has scored 12 times in this game. Big question. If Waterford win, it's Waterford against Kilkenny. Limerick will play Tipperary. If Galway win, it's Galway against Tipperary. Limerick will face Kilkenny. Is there a winner in playing time? There is extra time if the sides end level. Here's Milan. He's going for it. Incredible. John Milan.
Yeah, what a time to score his first point of the game.
The tension palpable here in Semple Stadium. All-Ireland semi-final at stake. 71 minutes, 44 seconds. Canning, is he the man? The ball is going wide. Are Galway out of the championship? Are Waterford in the All-Ireland semi-final?
I think it's all over.
The referee blows the full-time whistle. Galway are out of the championship. Davy Fitz guided Waterford to the All-Ireland final last year, the Munster final this year, and he's back in the semi-final again. Heartbreak for Galway. They beat Clare, they beat Cork. They seem to be the team on form, but they will be devastated after this performance, because here in Semple Stadium, a dramatic finish. It's Waterford 1 goal and 16 points. Galway 18 points.
I'm not making any excuses whatsoever. I don't want to hear about injuries or no win against Waterford previously or three games in 15 days. It was there for us and we let it slip, and I think that's what will torment the team management and the Galway players over the next couple of weeks, because this is going to take a while to get over.
We were being knocked in our own county, to be honest, this week, the gaffer's been knocked in this week in Waterford, but today we stood up and be counted, they're a good Galway team, a very good Galway team. With 5 minutes to go, we could say we were beaten, but we didn't. We never gave in. We were fit enough to finish the thing. So we have another crack in Kilkenny the next day.
All right then, Pete Finnerty, fantastic victory for Waterford or disastrous defeat for Galway?
Well, I suppose the old cliche is not over till the fat lady sings, and Galway dominated most of the game. They were ahead at half-time by 4 points. Waterford came out, brought it back to 2. Then Galway went to 6 ahead again. Didn't give away a few silly frees that kept Waterford in the game. But in the final closing stages of the match, when men were needed and had to be stand up and be counted, it was Waterford that had those men, and they're famous for it. They did it 2 years against Cork, and they did it last year against Tipperary, and they've done it now again this year against Galway. Yeah,
so credit to Waterford's fighting qualities, Donald, but Galway shouldn't have ever been in that position. They were 4 points up with 3 minutes to go.
Yeah, 4 points up with 3 minutes to go, and experienced teams, they close out matches like that, but Galway made silly little mistakes, didn't use the ball well, coming into the finish. They lost an awful lot of the 50-50s, and, once Dan Shannon came on, the tide turned.
All right, and speaking of the tide turning, was that big man with the nice T-shirt we saw there? Yeah, 3.5 minutes to go. He came on the field and he changed the whole course of the game in those 3.5 minutes. Dan Shanahan we're talking about.
Dan has got a lot of criticism down through this year and last year, but today he was phenomenal when he came on. He just wanted to do one thing, he wanted to win that game. First ball he got straight into his hand, flashes it wide. That gave Waterford the belief to put the ball in there and that Dan would win anything. Next ball came in, he wins the free. Here we see Ger Farrer. He had plenty of time to put the ball into the danger area for Galway. He doesn't. Tries to hit a dinky little pass, doesn't happen. Carney receives the ball, drives a long ball into Dan. Dan does what he does best, up, catches, heads for goal. He sees Shane Walsh free, and a brilliant finish by Walsh. And in those 3.5 minutes, the game just changed completely and was all down to Dan.
Dan was fouled there, but the ref, in fairness, gave advantage for the goal. I mean, but should he be pulled to the ground?
Well, there's a question that he probably wasn't fouled enough. As a defender, you would feel like, OK, we take our chances with the penalty and a yellow card, but I mean, that's what I mean, closing and open the last few minutes.
Was it on Murphy? Did it the other end of the field for Waterford, don't you know? He just,
Damien Hayes was going through and he tapped the legs and,
took his yellow card.
Took his yellow card, and probably Eugene McEntee doesn't have the experience of that and thought he might be able to hold him up or whatever else and should have brought him down maybe.
Still a good catch by Dan, let's not take from that. But we were asking you then about Galway deficiencies, given that they were so dominant for so long, Don.
Well, I think they'll be tormented, as John McIntyre said, when they look at what they did. This is a great chance, Tony Brown, right? Bad pass back and Angus Cannon gets it. Now, Joe Cannon to me is should be steaming in there for the pass and give him some option. He didn't, and I have a crib with Joe about that. He's a little bit lazy. And second half, there were 6 points up. Super free there by Owen Lynch. Just instead of keeping John Malank going down the line, and Damien Hayes, great work here, dinks it inside to Callan. No, Callan should have ran with that ball. He is a runner, turns, hits it wide, crucial stage again in the second half when they were looking for scores. And here, this is the worst of all, great ball by John Lee, and Hines gets it. You can just see Joe Canning in the frame there at the bottom of the picture. crying out for the ball, and Hines hits it 20 metres wide, and that's psychologically, I spoke about that already tonight, but psychologically a huge one for the defence, right? And if that ball had been given to Joe, that might have closed out the game for them. So, you know, they have a lot to learn, but, you know, when they wake up tomorrow morning, when they review the video, if they're you know, well enough to look at it, they'll be sick with the possession they threw away.
All right, we will be chatting about Waterford later on in relation to the semi-final draw, but where does it leave Galway? I mean, they're still not getting past the quarter-final stage, Pete.
No, but looking on this year and looking on the previous years, this has been a much more successful year for Galway, albeit that they have won nothing. They're going away now with the nucleus of a good team. They have to review what they have done, what they have achieved, where their weaknesses are. They were unfortunate they lost 3 excellent defenders through injury, and any team that would weaken, and it weakened probably Galway in today as well. But McIntyre is a good manager. He'll have learned from this experience. There's a great bond in Galway hurling. I was at most of their games, and there's a great support behind them again, and I think there's a lot of respect put back into the Galway jersey, and they can build on that.
A lot of respect, but a question mark still over them, is there, Don?
Yeah, the question mark always was with, I mean, don't Corkway or the traditional counties would feel like, look, if you put up the Galway in the end, you know, there's a chance they're a bit brittle, they might crack. That will hang over them again now because of this defeat, and that they had the chances and didn't put Waterford away. But all credit to Waterford, they had a heart, as Dan said there, and you know, never said I asked you, and they were very, very fit. Yeah,
okay, well done, Waterford. Pete, who were the nominees for man of the match?
Nominees for man of the match were Owen Kelly. Scored 12 points in total, and Waterford relied most of the day on frees, and Owen converted everything that he got. Stephen Malump worked tirelessly all day long for Waterford, and ran at that Galway defence and created a lot of those frees. And also Ollie Canning had an outstanding game again, a cornerback for Galway.
All right, and who gets the award, Don?
Well, we gave the award to Owen Kelly because the frees were vital. He got a very good point from play, but he missed nothing except one long-range free, and I think that was vital. And they were difficult frees, and that's what won it for Waterford in the end. His unerring marksmanship. This is the example of his point when Waterford were, you know, looking for scores, but every free that he got, left to right of the post in the middle, he stuck it over, right, okay, and you know, you see him putting the fist up there. They knew they were on a roll, and he carried them out. And when you went out midfield there with the last 10 minutes, he went out himself. You know, he was excellent for Waterford all through.
Okay, well then let's hear from the man of the match, Owen Kelly.
Beatrice Cosgrove, the country manager with Etihad Airways, is going to present our GAA Hurling Championship man of the match, Owen Kelly, with his award.
Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Owen, but how on earth did you pull that one out of the bag?
It's just a great team performance, you know. I accept this on behalf of the Waterford senior panel. Like, it's no individual won that game today, you know. Everyone from 1 to 19 that came on, like, and even the lads that didn't come on, that was a total Waterford performance. There's no individual won that game.
All right, well done, Owen. Now, next up then, it's the hurling semi-finals. It's Kilkenny against Waterford on August the 9th and Tipperary versus Limerick on August the 16th. Maybe if we spoke about Kilkenny-Waterford, first of all, Pete, apart from Owen Kelly, who got the 12 points, in the whole match, Waterford only scored 4 other points from play, including 1 in added time. That has to be a concern.
It has to be. It is a concern. There's no question about it. And Dan Shannon our big Dan coming back today will be a huge bonus to them. I actually thought he should have started today, but coming on and after turning the game, he'll come back with the same confidence he has. Against Kilkenny, they were destroyed last year in the All-Ireland final. They go into this game with no pressure on them whatsoever. There'll be less expected of them than there was last year, and they have a chance to redeem themselves. And if they play with the same heart and vigour and determination as they did for the last 10 minutes of today's game, and if they put the doubts that they had in the mound in the All-Ireland final, go out and play what they do best, play hurling, don't try and mix it with Kilkenny, and whatever result will come, it'll be better than last September.
All right. They have injuries, they have ageing players, but will they lose by the same margin against Kilkenny this time in your view?
Well, they should tell you it is, because I think Davy showed that he has learned from the Munster final, that they squeezed the game a little bit today. He's like to do that against Kilkenny as well. And you don't expect them to win, so they're in a no-lose situation. They go out and hurl away, do the best they can, get stuck in and play their own brand of hurling, right? And at the same time, try and stop Kilkenny from playing their game, but looking at it as a neutral, you'll be saying that Kilkenny will be hot favourites, and that's a plus for Waterford as well as the revenge factor. That's a big thing in their makeup.
And then Limerick going in against Tippy, and there's the same worry that apart from the frees today, I think only 2 Limerick players scored points from play, which isn't a great scoring return from the forwards.
It's not. Again, they're short in the forward department. Ollie Morden is getting fitter and he's coming back, and he would be a huge bonus. But in fairness to Limerick, look where they are. They're in an All-Ireland semi-final. A lot of people were writing them off when we saw them against Waterford at the beginning of the year, but they're gaining momentum. A lot of people expected Dublin would beat them easily today. I was one of those people. And Limerick didn't lie down. They stayed working. They got the opportunities and they finished the game out.
And Donal, you think they're going to rattle